Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North, fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
Your first place Mariners, baby!
Let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks. There's
Yeah,
some sickness and life got in the way, but we are back and we are excited to talk about the mother freaking Mariners
that's
to
right.
you tonight. But what I mean by life got in the way is our friend Kane got really into the WNBA and had to really focus a lot of time and energy towards
All
that. But
right.
we're not
All
going to dive too
right.
deep into that.
All
But before,
right.
why don't I tell you a little bit about us? If you're looking for a guy, if you were looking for a pair like Fox broadcasts on Saturday, I'm like the Aaron Goldschmidt. I get hyped at
Oh,
the right time. I've got all the stats. I'm coming in hot, and you love to hear it. If you're looking for a guy like that, you're looking for a guy like me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on X at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also, you can find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking In with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. And if you're looking for a guy that's like AJ Perzinski, a
all
name
right.
I
All right.
cannot say,
You know
okay,
what? Before you even get into this, didn't you name me Statosaurus Rex? So wouldn't I be more like Aaron Goldsmith? Statosaurus Rex, coach.
I think that Statosaurus Rex looks at the screen. Uh, Aaron Goldsmith also has it in his brain, like me. But you're
This looks
more
like
like
a
the AJ
sheet of paper.
Brzezinski because
Whatever.
AJ Brzezinski can be fun. He's got some good takes, but also he says some dumb shit like JP should bunt in the third inning with no outs and Ryan Bliss on second after every solo base. So if you're looking for a guy like that, you're looking for a guy
All
like
right.
Kane.
I don't condone bunting, by the way. Dingers all the way. Yeah, I'm Kane. You can find me over on Twitter at K2406, on YouTube at Kane06. Actually, scratch that. I don't do YouTube. It's never going to take off. Uh, TikTok, K0624. Also, follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Follow. Do it. I'm in
I
a good
just
mood today,
I
man. I'm in
just
a good
said
mood
I
today.
said Mariners and got you fired up, and I got you fired up the other side.
I've been fired up about the Mariners for the last month.
We're
Last month has been pretty fun.
It's been fun. We're just gonna break down this last week. We're not gonna break
Yeah.
down since the Twins series
Yeah, I don't
on.
remember that far back, and I'm not gonna go talk
Well,
out of my ass through the stats. You know what I mean?
and I don't think everyone wants to rehash something that's about 2 weeks old. So we're gonna
Right.
talk about the series that were over the last week, and it was a homestand, 4 games against the Astros, 3 games against the Angels, where the Mariners came out of that 6-1, which brings their winning percentage to
I believe I saw it was like a six.
55.7%. We round that up to 56. Screw
Yeah.
54. We're going two above.
Yeah. And the one thing that I've noticed out of this stretch, and one thing that hasn't gotten me so upset at the Mariners really is when Texas loses, the Mariners usually lose. So it's been okay. The lead has stayed there, and the Mariners continue to just be in first place
Well, what
for
I'd
like a
like
straight month.
is the Mariners pitching staff, and we'll
Oh,
get
it's
into that ad
fantastic.
nauseum through this. Kane, game one versus the Houston Astros. Hit me with that score.
Game one was 3-2.
3-2.
Mariners.
3-2. Mariners go out with their righty heavy lineup and blitz Frambar Valdez in the first with 3 runs and hold on for dear life. Bryce Miller gets his first win since mid to late April,
Yeah.
which was big to see. You saw that confidence coming back, a bunch of swing and miss, and he just did what needed to get done. They were having trouble with him all day. Mariners get off to that hot start in the first. And like I said, they held on. The bullpens throughout all of these series, except for one bad pitch, have held up oh so well.
Yeah, and I just want to throw this little tidbit out there. You know how many times they struck out in that game? Do you
4.
want to five. Love to see that. Love to see Low strikeout numbers. Love to see that. But yeah, they ended up winning. As you said, in the first inning, they exploded. I believe they got to the 8 hitter, and it was pretty awesome to see. I believe JP led the game off with a double down the line. So kind of set this kind of set a statement in his return home after injury. And oh boy, do I think that man's about to turn things around.
Yeah, it was pretty solid there in that game one. Game two is a little fun too. Game two, Kane hit me with that score.
4-2, Mariners.
4-2. That this was the Luis Castillo start, if I'm not mistaken. Gives up a 2-run. Mariners score early again. Can't really tack on until late. Bregman hits a 2-run bomb. And then the Mariners bring back the chaos a little bit. Eighth inning rolls around, and it was just a comedy of scoring runs on balls that shouldn't have left the infield.
And the fact that they let Ryan Presley throw for 35 pitches in that inning was wild to me.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Haniger leads the inning off
With a
with
double.
a double.
Gets subbed out
No,
for Clase. Yes, he did. He launched it to right center, got to second. Clase got up. Bliss came in, passed ball. Clase went to third. Bliss went
you're
down
way off.
0-2, and then he worked a full count, drew the walk,
Yep.
and then JP
Rojas, JP gets out. Rojas smokes one that bounces off Abreu's glove. That is a hustle double. So you've got Bliss at third, Rojas at second. Julio comes up with the swinging bunt. Bregman
swung on
clutch.
the outside corner.
Yep.
He pulled that ball.
Well, he rolled it over at an exit
Right.
angle of about 14. And then
Right.
Bregman could get the out at first, decides to look at home. Bliss is flying like a bat
Off
out of hell
contact. Yeah.
and scores easily. Then he tries to throw off wrong foot to try and get Julio at first. Julio is going to be safe no matter what. Throws the ball in the outfield. They score the game winning run right then and there.
Yeah. And then Ryan Stanek comes in
Comes
and
out and
closes the
throws
door.
fire.
He absolutely shut the Astros down.
In the game before, Munoz was just nails
Nails.
again.
Yeah. Yeah, he has. He's looked locked in, and I love every second of it. If you give him a high leverage situation, it seems to be working.
Yep.
So
Game three was on Wednesday. We were thinking about recording last Wednesday, but with the way that the schedule was, you weren't wrapped up with the series, and I didn't want to spend the whole game glancing back and forth to the TV. And I was sitting there with my fiance watching this game. She goes, "This game was extremely boring." I thought that was one of the funnest games of the year. High intensity. You got George Kirby versus Justin Verlander. George Kirby gives up 1 run, gives up, I think, 6 hits, has a fair amount of strikeouts, gets through 6 innings flat. Later in the game, Verlander gives a solo shot Dom Canzone. This game ends up going into extras.
there was
Mariners
an
don't,
unearned run in that. No, there
huh?
wasn't. Never mind. Oops. Sorry. I was thinking about another time. Sorry.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the Mariners ghost runner starts for the Astros. That runner does not get to third. Mariners get the bases juice with one
Is
out.
that when Bauman came in?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bauman came in and handled business.
It was his first appearance since getting shellacked the day after he was acquired from the Orioles at the Yankees. So it was a good bounce back for him. And then the bases get loaded. And when the bases are loaded, JP Crawford does good things, hits a sac fly that ends the game
Thought it
in
was gone.
walk-off action.
I thought it was gone off the rim.
I knew the game was over as soon as it left his bat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all
But
I cared about.
I thought he got every stitch of it.
Then you roll into
Thursday's game.
Thursday's game, and you've got Arrighetti
Ford.
Spaghetti, who's got just the highest ERA of all the starters in Houston, and he absolutely shoves. And Logan Gilbert stumbles a little bit. Ends up giving up all 4 runs in his 6 innings that he goes out there. And I got to give Logan a little bit of relief on this game just because you looked at Logan as being your stabilizing force this whole year. I think this is only his second bad start on the year, which is better than every other one of your starters. And we didn't even touch about in Kirby's start. The catcher to start that game was Mitch Garver. And
Yeah.
guess who had 0 starts this week? Zebby Zavala. We'll get into that more.
What a shitbag he is.
Okay, there's the explicit. I already used one. Now you got with 2. There we go.
I'm sorry.
So,
I do not like Sebby's fault.
so day games have not treated the Mariners super well, especially in
Not
week.
in the slightest.
No, in week day games, they're terrible at. Fine during the day on the weekends. They're ready to party, but during the week,
Yeah.
they hit that snooze button
Wednesday,
one too many times.
Wednesday, Wednesday or Thursday are their kryptonites in the middle of the day. It really is.
True. So they come out of that series, expanding their lead on the Astros by 2 games.
Yep.
So you love to see that. And then they have a series against the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And you know what? Friday got a little bit scary. You have Brian Wu, who's absolutely dealing,
Was
goes
pulled after 66 pitches.
through 6 innings, is just up there. Guys are trying to jump on contact, but the Mariners score early in this game. Once
Yep.
again.
Five runs.
Nope, they scored 4 early in this game.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, 4 early. I didn't watch this game because it was on Apple TV and I was already gaming at this point and I forgot.
The
It, it
Mariners
was
the
it was a
Mariners
long
were
week.
cruising, and then you get, I believe it's the 7th or 8th inning, and
Yeah.
uh Thornton, I believe it's Thornton. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Thornton. Didn't look super smooth. They bring in Taylor Saucedo, and Angels bring in Joe Adell, who's had some power but a lot of swing and miss in his game. And Saucedo's got him 2-2. Cal set up on the outside corner. Saucedo throws a slider that comes right on the inside corner, misses by the plate, and hits a grand slam, a pinch hit grand slam. But no need to fear because Ty France is here to hit a mammo bomb
Oh,
in
and
the
what a
bottom of
game
the 8th.
he had. What a game he had. Went 3 for 3 on the night with a double, a single, and a home run.
And a walk, 3 RBIs. Cal Raleigh clocks him with the other 2 in that game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then guess what? It's time for Munoz to come in and shut the freaking door.
And that's exactly what he did.
Then we get into, I believe this is Bryce Miller's second start of the week, and Bryce Miller is on fire, and so are the Mariners' bats. In this game, you've got grand slam by J.P. Crawford. You have home run by Luke Raley, and Luke Raley on Friday night was robbed of a homer by Mickey Moniak. So Luke Raley is starting to absolutely heat up.
Oh
In this
yeah, and
game as
Luke Raley
well.
also took one away in Houston against Houston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that robbery
Of Jeremy
was
Pena.
dope.
In this game as well, you have Ryan Bliss's first hit. You have Ryan Bliss working 2 walks, having 2 stolen bases. Just a
I
firecracker.
really like his approach. He's got a good swing.
And I believe
Just
Julio was 3 for 5 on the day as well.
yeah, Julio's heating up. He is
Power
heating
still
up.
power still coming, but he's hitting some dubs, and you love to see it.
Yes. But the score to that game was 9-0.
And then you get into Sunday's contest. Kane hit me with that score.
5-1. Get out the brooms.
And this game was close until late. So you're
Yeah.
sitting there. It's a 1-1 ball game. Luke Raley hits an absolute piss missile that got out. I don't think it got over 15 feet in the air on
And
a
big
line. That thing
shouts
got
to
out.
that kid who caught it.
He didn't catch it. It went up against the little netting there. because he's trying to
Uh,
fish it out. Nice try. The Mariners broadcast tried to sell that to. Guess what? Wasn't buying it.
it looked like he caught it.
And then you get the Mariners. They end up getting the bases loaded on a couple of walks and an error. And then Luke Rayleigh just wears one like a G right in the hamstring. And then Mitch Garver, I was getting really close to saying, golly, Mitch Garver needs like a few days off. And he comes through with a bases clearing double to really put this game out of reach.
And I believe they had Munoz warming up and then just left Bauman out there.
Yep. And when you look at the Mariners over the course of the last week, the bullpen was really key. Besides the
Yes.
grand slam that was given up by Taylor Saucedo, which the dude's been nails basically all year, and it was one bad pitch when he inherited the bases loaded. So it's a
Yeah,
tough
it's a tough
break.
situation.
But I think when you look at the rest of the week, there was one other run given up by the bullpen. It was absolutely bonkers how lights
Mm-hmm.
out that is doing with guys that we know and some guys that we've learned to appreciate and some guys that are really taking that step forward, right? And they're not nationally known guys. Munoz, I think, is working his way there. I think that with the month of May that he had, I would not be shocked to see if he wins reliever of the month for the second time in his young career. You've got
Mm-hmm.
Stanek that's turned the corner a little bit. He's finding a little bit more life with that splitty and throwing it close enough to the zone.
Mm-hmm.
You had Gabe
Both.
Spire go on the IL, who turned it around and had a good outing against the Astros. Austin Voth has come in some pretty high leverage spots. We've talked
Gotten
about
you out of it.
Saucedo and how much he's worked well for this team, and then Bauman comes in and does some work too.
Mm-hmm. It's stuff you like to see, and this, this is a bullpen of a playoff caliber team.
And the guy
And
that's really shocked me, who I thought was going to be the first candidate to get thrown down, is Kirby Snead.
yeah, and you know who else has been really good and just had one rough outing? Trent Thornton.
Yeah,
Trent Thornton
Thornton's
has
been
been
pretty solid
really good.
all year.
A
So
lot of the Mariners like to get a lot of these guys that are DFA'd, all that, and their pitching lab has worked wonders.
that's true. Before we get to picks to click, it's going to be really tough to judge our last one, but let's talk a little
I
bit.
think that the understanding that we had is I doubled down on Cal and he delivered again.
In that first week, he did because he had a grand slam, a pinch hit right-handed grand slam against the
Minnesota.
Twins. So we'll give it to you, Mitch Garver. I was trying to reverse jinx him, and guess what? Joke's on me for being a sucker because I took that sucker bet and I just pissed that win down the drain.
And then
But
I think the third week I tripled down on Cal, and then he
we didn't
went
get
for
there. We didn't get there.
right, but over text.
Yeah, we
I
didn't get
think
there, so it doesn't count because we
I
didn't say
know.
it on air. Plus,
So
I didn't give you my pick, so guess
that's
what?
true.
Cal Raleigh decided to cool down a little bit too. But before we get into picks to click, I want to talk a little bit about some roster construction and how they're currently running it. So, since our last recording, Luis Urias got sent down to AAA, and then you also had Jorge Polanco go on the IR, which prompted the promotion of Bliss, who got a little bit of run with this team over the last week.
He got more
When,
playing time than Revis did.
yeah, and the other thing is when your ice went down, they brought up Class A, and Class A didn't record a plate appearance. I don't think in the
No, he
week
did one. He did one, I think.
one, maybe,
It's a pitch hit.
maybe. Okay. Well, I'll let you have it. But this is a guy that needs to be playing every day. So it was a little shocking when they brought him up and kind of used him in that limited role again. But with Mitch Haniger kind of heating up a little bit, Dom Canzone being boomer bust with the power, and then you throw in the emergence of Rayleigh and Julio, there wasn't a whole lot of at bats for him. So you look at a move that was made today when they sent Class A down so we could go get regular playing time. They go and sign Victor Robles off the streets, who was DFA'd by Washington. This is a former top 5 prospect. He's basically Jonathan Class A with more experience in the major leagues and better
Very good
defensive
defender.
metrics. Very good
Great
defensive
defender.
metrics, great speed. And this is a guy who just last year hit 299 in like 114 appearances or plate appearances in the bigs last year,
Yeah,
or
I'll take that.
114 games, I think it might have been. So
Here, I can give you a quick little
I don't know a ton
uh
about this guy, but taking a flyer.
he was overhyped. He was overhyped. He never panned out the way the Nationals did. But let's be honest, there's only two players from that Nationals run that really panned out to and that was Anthony Rendon during his time there and Juan Soto. So all of your other guys, you had Strasburg, he's retired now. A lot of these guys have had only success on the Nationals.
On that
And
Nationals team.
so, he just didn't pan out. And as you said, he's 27 years old. 27. That's young for a guy not to be on a team.
And I'm just so ready for the Mariners to take on a reclamation project when it comes to a hitter and really turn them around. Right.
So
But the one thing that I do want to say is this move enables Class A to go get at bats. And this is a move that could last as long until Polanco's off the injured list, or you be bold and you send down Zebby Zavala because,
or DFA him.
well, if he's got options, then he gets sent down. You just don't
And run
DFA.
Mitch and just run Garver every fifth day.
or
Like,
or you don't even do that, or you just do it once a week. That's all you
yeah,
need. And the other thing is I think that when Polanco gets back, I think that Bliss is a good option, and Robles would also give you a good option for late base running. You still have Dylan Moore, who then kind of profiles a little bit more into that super utility role and can really fill in for everyone. But I think that increases your defense. And while Mitch Garver and Jorge Polanco are getting it figured out, giving them some time off, I know that you need to see live pitching,
just put
but
them both at DH and just have them kind of play every other day.
because the other thing is Polanco, I don't love his defense at second base, and I feel a lot more comfortable when a ball's hit towards Demo or Bliss.
Right. There have been plays that Polanco has made that I've been like, he shouldn't have made that play, but he did, and it's awesome. But yeah, it's a lot of he's just not quick enough, and that is a bad thing. But Ryan Bliss is fast. The only thing with him and Demo, they're short.
Yep.
I
I
mean,
just think that getting Polanco and Mitch Garver heating up is going to be really big for this team, because going into the weekend, the Mariners were 29th in the MLB in runs scored per game and leading the division. Right now, they're up 4 over Texas. As at the time of this recording, they're up 7.5 on the third place Astros. So you love to see it. But Kane, give me your pick to click for this upcoming week. We've got A's and Royals.
John Paul, come and give it to you. JP is going to have a nuts week this week. I think he has finally figured it out, and we're going to continue to see him break out. The Mariners have a very good track record against Oakland, especially after these last couple of years. I think JP is going to come out and show them why he's the captain of this team and put the team on his back. So, who's your pick to play?
Go and give me Ty France this week.
Like
Ty
it.
France, hitting's coming around a little bit more. Seen some good
More
plays at first base.
bombs.
But what I really like to see is Ty France has held his own against Oakland in the past. But if you want to, besides Julio, like Julio Rodriguez and Ty France, murder the Royals. And with a big series coming up against them, I think that you're going to see Julio and Ty France do much of the same. But I really like Ty France, and you're seeing him put the ball out of the park. You're seeing the doubles start to come back a little bit more. And with that little bit of extra loft and a little bit of extra power right now, go ahead and give me Ty France as my pick to click for this week.
Like it. I like it.
And as you said, the Mariners multiple times are in first place. I've said it a few times as well. So we want to
It's a
look.
great. It rolls off the tongue. You know what I
Uh,
mean?
it feels like a foreign language since we haven't been able to speak that for a while, for years and years and years. But
I haven't seen them keep a lead this long. So
it's fun to see. So we're
yeah,
going to also talk about some other firsts that could maybe should would happen, and kind of give you our pick of Mariners player. We're going to start with pitchers and follow it up with hitters. I'll give you the categories real quick just so that way you have a point of reference. The first Mariners pitcher to record 150 strikeouts, we've got the first Mariner to throw a complete game, first Mariner to throw a complete game shutout, and the first Mariner to throw an immaculate inning this year. An immaculate inning, for those of you who don't know, is 9 total pitches and 3 strikeouts. No balls, all strikes, 3 up, 3 down, baby. And then the next things that we have for the hitters is the first Mariner to hit 30 steals, the first Mariner to hit 30 homers, the first Mariner to hit inside the park home run this year, and the first Mariner to hit for the cycle. So, Kane, going back to the top, what Mariner is going to be the first to hit 150 strikeouts?
that's easy. Luis Castillo. Um, he strikes dudes out at a high clip almost every outing. He had a good long stretch, I believe, last year where he struck out 9 consecutively. So he is your high strikeout guy. It's looked a little different this year, but he's still striking dudes out with a big clip.
Yeah, I'm also going with Luis Castillo just because he's sitting at 81, and I think that's about 7 more than any other starter. So when you look at that, you're sitting there, and he's got that lead, which is basically 1 game's worth of production
Yeah,
already in advance. So I think this one was the easiest one on the board.
yes, I agree.
All right, next thing we've got is which Mariner is going to be the first to throw a complete game?
Logan Gilbert. He is your guy who can go the longest. We saw him
I
do it
think
last
Castillo's the
year.
guy that goes the longest.
It depends on the day. It does depend on the day.
Pitch count wise, Luis goes the longest.
Fair. But I do think that Logan is just strictly business when he's on the mound, and most of the time it's quick and efficient. So I think Logan's going to be the first guy to throw a complete game. Coach Red, who do you got?
Go ahead and give me George Kirby on this. With George Kirby being so focused on being in the zone, and going around the zone, you've seen this especially against the Houston Astros. They're jumping early on pitches, and usually you're seeing George Kirby, if those balls in play result in outs early on in the game, that he's flying through innings with his pitch count. He's getting out of there sometimes multiple innings in a row sub 10. So to really be in that pitch count game, I think that Kirby gives you the best option because of how aggressive people are being on him at the zone, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get down to Kirby. When Kirby can play on the edges and then start that ball on the edge and work it, especially with that sweeper,
Yeah.
it's big. And he's incorporated the splitty a little bit as well. So he's a fun guy to throw out there.
A
And I think that
dark
do that.
horse that I would have for this, if he wasn't restricted by his pitch count right now, would be Brian Blue. Because Brian Blue has just looked so efficient out there. So he would be my dark horse if he wasn't on a pitch count.
He's going to be all year. So,
I know he is.
all right. Who is going to be the first Mariner to throw a complete game shutout?
I just want to give a mustache ride for Bryce Miller. He is going to do it. We saw him the other night, right? 9 strikeouts. That was a huge outing for him. I think that if he is just locked in, he could get it done. And the Mariners just have to put a lot of runs on the board. Is because when they do, He's smooth sailing the entire game. So that is my prediction. Coach Red, who do you got?
I like you throwing a little bit of love to Bryce Miller, but he doesn't typically get deep enough into games to be able to get
Right.
there. Go ahead and give me the guy that I think is the last man to do it. It's Logan Gilbert. He did it down in San Fran. Uh, this is a guy
Right.
who you said can get deeper into games based on he's doing the same thing. He's really toying with guys inside, outside, up and down in the zone. And people are trying to jump on a pitch in the zone early in the count because Logan is another guy that you do not want to get behind. You've got multiple guys. You looked at earlier in the year, Luis Castillo and George Kirby. Those whiffs weren't there. Logan's had it this whole time, right?
Mhm.
They've started to turn that around quite a bit as the season has progressed. But Logan Gilbert is just you will see a Walter start where he just goes out and
Mhm.
absolutely shoves.
Right. Right. I think like I said, it has to be the perfect situation for Bryce. It really does. And that's if the Mariners just obliterate the other team.
So
And
you think that if they're obliterating the other team, that's
if
going to
they're
run that
if
pitch count
they're
up?
up if they're up by like
Five.
five, right?
Once
They're
you
up
get
by
past that,
five.
Scott Service is
Um,
walking out there and giving in the old,
right. It's got
yeah,
to
great day,
be
bud.
5 runs, and then it's got to be like he's at 60 pitches through 7.
That is
It's tough. It's tough, but it's got to be the perfect. It's got to be the perfect situation.
fair. We didn't go with no or a perfect game since those have been a little
As
bit too rare in the game. But next person
this
we've got
year,
who's going to be the first one to throw an immaculate inning.
Andres Munoz. I really think he. Yeah, I think he can. Especially, wasn't he close in the Yankee series when he sat Judge and Soto down? Yeah, I think he had 10 pitches that outing. So give me Andres Munoz. It's cut and dry, man. Coach Red, who do you got?
As Taylor Saucedo would say on his Twitch stream, give me Munoz.
That was awesome, by the way.
I know that
That
was a
was
great.
so dope.
I've been working on my impersonations, so thank you.
Wow, look at you praising a lefty. Love it.
No, but Munoz has been electric. His
Yeah.
walks have been down. His strikeout numbers have been up. He's just filthy, and he's really working that two seamer low and into righties, and it's just disappearing into that bottom corner, which is coming in at like 98 miles an
Plus,
hour.
that
It,
sink
it's
piece he's throwing is gross too.
it's disgusting on what he's doing right now. The other
Yeah.
guy, if you're facing a struggling lineup that I threw a little bit of credence to, is Ryan Stanek just pumping 9 heaters at 100 miles an hour. No splitting needed. Give me the
No.
gas. But
Yeah.
you also get that with Munoz, and I think that he's probably the closest guy to being able to do that.
Mhm.
All right, let's flip over to the hitters. Kane, who is your first Mariner to reach 30 steals?
Julio Rodriguez.
This was the
He's
second.
already he's halfway there.
He's not. He's
He's
got
at
11.
14.
He's got 11.
No. Oh. I do have a dark horse considering on playing time. I know Demo's gonna probably get him at a pretty good clip this year, but I think if you're gonna keep this guy up at MLB level, Ryan Bliss
Ryan
is
Bliss
a
had
dark
28
horse.
steals so far in AAA this year.
So I think they're gonna let him run. It seems like since Julio's been in the 3 spot, they're not letting him run much.
No, they are.
So
I think they dialed it back after he had two atrocious slides, just like sliding over the base and getting tagged out. And that
mm,
seemed to have cleaned up. So I'm also on board with you with Julio. I think that the lead's just there enough that it's going to be tough to catch him by the time that you hit 30. But I do not think that Julio ends the season as your stolen bases leader.
I think it's gonna be Demo or Ryan Bliss.
I'm
Depend like situational, right? If you got your Mitch Garver or Mitch Haniger as your DH on first base in late innings, Ryan Bliss is the first person off the bench. I think. I think they even pass Demo if he's on the bench
Well,
because
I
Ryan
think you do
Bliss.
because you still want to give the option if you need to bat Demo if they bring in a lefty to really play
True.
that game. So I think that agreed that you're going to have those guys that do have those late inning opportunities, and when they get their starts, when they get on base, they're going to be moving and grooving too.
Yeah.
So I will take Julio as well. All right, this will be a fun one. I wonder who you're going to pick for the first player to hit 30 homers.
Oh, it's like he's already a third of the way there. Big dumper. I don't know if anybody's gonna come close. And like unless they start going on home run streaks, dude, like Cal's got to actually start hitting them out to get there. But he's getting a little freezing
Banged
up
up. He's
there.
getting banged up behind the plate,
That is true. He is taking some
and
damage.
he's catching a lot, a
Yeah.
lot, a lot.
The bat has cooled down, but I do think that he hits for power 99% of the time he comes up to the plate.
And when it comes
And
in bunches for Cal.
yeah, he usually hits 3 or 4 when he starts hitting them. Cal Raleigh, I think, is the clear cut choice. He's the closest one there. I think the next guy behind him has 7. So isn't that Ty France? No, Ty France said, yeah, he's at 7. Who else is at 7?
Nobody.
Nobody? They must be at 6 then.
Hitch Haniger's at 6.
Okay. Coach Red, who's the first to hit 30 home runs?
Easy choice for me. Ty France, baby.
Oh, shit.
Ty France. You're seeing that confidence reemerge from him in the
He's
National
no
Series.
doubting them.
National Series, it's a no doubter. And the Angels in that 8th inning game, he's just locked in. When Ty France can get hot, he can put the ball out of the park. He's been close to 30 in the past. He's only 4 behind uh, Cal right now, and Cal's gonna have that 1 week where he has 3 or 4, and then it's gonna be cool for a little bit. Ty France, I think, can get you about 2 to 3 a week if he really starts humming, because you're seeing that confidence reemerge. His at bats are looking better and better and better. You're
Yeah.
seeing a little bit more of that whiff go out. He's not just flailing at the pitches. I think that especially when they have a big homestand in the warmer times that you get
Yeah.
in June and into July, Ty France is one guy that can consistently hit the ball out of the park at T-Mobile. And when the conditions are right and Ty France is humming, dude, I think that he could really make up some ground and touch it. Once again, this is something for me where I don't think that Ty France ends up leading your team in home runs at the end of the year, but I think that he could get there to 30 first.
I like it.
All right. Who is your first Mariner to hit an inside the park home run? Jonathan Clase was very close.
Dylan Moore. Uh, I do think Dylan Moore will be the first guy to hit an inside the park home run because I think he's the second fastest dude. And he, like, when I was talking to you the other day, right? He, when he makes contact, it's more of slicing the ball in half. So he's trying to hit it just square right in the middle. And he's just going to put it to a strange part in the park on a line. And he's going to be to third by the time they start throwing it in. And he's going to be at standing on the plate. So, D Mo, Coach Red, who do you got?
I also have Demo here, and I think that with Demo, he's got a little bit too much loft in his swing right now. Like you said, really trying to square that ball up is where he does best. And I imagine him hitting like a hard angle on a wall and that ball kicking away. And he's got the wheels to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it, there's some times right now where he's not hitting with as much power, where you might see the defense play a little bit in and being able to take advantage of that. Or if he's hitting the ball well, then be playing deep, trying to make a diving play. And he's going to hit that thing on the line where if it gets past him, it's open range, right? Because he does have that plus speed.
Mm-hmm.
So I will also take Dylan Moore in
Again, I
this.
actually switched it up. I had JP
Oof.
on mine earlier because, like, just the way he runs bases,
That's
like,
it's not a bad thing, but JP, when he does square it up, it's right down the line. He's not really gap power
yeah,
type of
I
guy.
know, I
He's a
know,
line to line type of guy. So it's a little bit tougher for him to reach
yeah.
that feat. All right, Kane, who's your first Mariner to hit for the cycle?
JP Crawford. I really do. I think this heater he's about to go on. It's gonna be insane. Um, I just think he's got the swing to do it, right? Like I said the other day, the loft and everything. He's got the loft to get a home run. He's got good contact and power when it comes to lefties or righties. Um, and he kind of does put the ball down the lines, like you said. And I think the biggest thing for him would be the triple, and that's just hitting the ball down the right field line and then getting a good jump out of the box. So give me JP. Coach Red, we
Probably
got
not at T-Mobile Park,
no, no.
unless Mitch Haniger is playing right field for the other team. I think it'll be pretty tough for him to get
Oh
that triple
god.
on a ball in the
Yeah.
corner, right? Oh, you
Yeah.
want my pick?
Yeah, I do.
It is not J.P. Crawford.
Okay.
It's Luke Rayleigh.
Ooh, I like that one. He's sneaky quick too.
I wouldn't say that he's sneaky quick. He's fast. He's very fast and he runs aggressively on everything. This is a guy that is also been getting some opportunities to go left on left and has done well with them recently. He does have a left on left home run. He's got a left on left double. This is a guy that I think is earned playing time. He's creeped his way up higher in lineup, so I think he'll get those opportunities. He's got the speed to get to third. He's been roping doubles, roping homers, and you know that he can beat out a swinging bunt to the infield, or maybe his single will be a bunt because he's mashing so much. He's one of those guys that will take that bunt when the third baseman is playing at shortstop. So
Yeah.
when you look at Luke, I think that he's legitimately just going to muscle his way through this, you know?
Yeah.
He's been such a he kind of picked up when Josh Rojas fell off because Josh Rojas was to town, brought his batting average up to 365, was hitting everything and anything. He cooled down a little bit. And in conjunction with that, Luke Rayleigh took that step forward. And it's kind of what we talked about is the Mariners have not been hot as a
A
whole so
team.
far this year offensively. You've had times where JP gets hot. You have times where Ty France get hot. Down Canzone's had his stretch. Mitch Haniger's had his stretch. Dylan Moore, but it's not like they're sustaining that success for weeks at a time. It's a 3 game, it's a series, it's a week max. You haven't seen that guy really take that step forward. The closest guy has been Julio, but he hasn't been doing it with the power, which is something you expect out of his game. So when you couple all that stuff together, you're really seeing that emergence of Luke Rayleigh. And I think that why not? He should be the guy. I think that he's a guy that can do it.
Love it. Love
Also,
it.
Julio is also in consideration, I believe, probably for both of us, just because he's a 5 tool player.
Yes. But I didn't want to go Julio, Julio, Julio. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to switch it up this year.
This episode, same year, same year.
Well, right. But I think we did this last year. I think a lot of ours, or at least a
No,
lot of mine,
we did it at the beginning of the year on
it's
who
a
was
lot
going
of
to lead the
Julio in
Mariners.
there.
Well, yeah, because we had high expectations, and
Yeah.
the Mariners are for how they've played as a whole, I think that they're kind of exceeding expectations. I think the
Yep.
bullpen's been better than you even expected. The starting rotation is one of the tops in the league. And the offense has been frustrating, but does enough to get stuff done at times, right?
Yep.
So when you look at that as a whole, you can't turn the TV off, right?
Right.
Because if the Yankees series, you bring in their closer, the Mariners are down 3 runs and they
Gave up
score
an earned run the entire
no
year.
and they score 4 runs without one ball leaving the park.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I mean,
crazy.
ever since then, I just can't turn it off. I don't care what the score is. I think that there's always a chance. And I guess that's the hopeful fan in me. But if you really look at it, the Mariners in the last 3 years have been the best 1 run team in baseball. And being able to claw back and being those cardiac kids, bringing that chaos ball back, bringing back the fun differential. Let's just bring back all of the fun monikers we've had. Trident's up, baby. Let's go. So
Yes, sir.
I bet we're still true to the blue. right? Or see us rise. And we are
Yeah.
seeing them rise up. And this is something that you really want to see them take into these next couple of series. When you look at what's on the docket, you've got the A's who are
Oakland.
scuffling right now. You've got the Royals that have exceeded expectation, but the Mariners already took a series from them. And then you're playing the Chicago
Worst
White Sox, who are
team in baseball.
they have 15 wins on the year so far. That's less than half of what the Mariners have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to take advantage
Don't
because
get complacent. Like, that's
yeah,
really all it is.
you sat there and you looked at some of the tough opponents they played earlier in the season. You've already knocked out, the Braves who are kind of coming back down after the Acuna injury. The
It's
Cubs
terrible.
are a pesky team. The Brewers are a tough team. The Orioles, the Yankees. Granted, you still have more series against them, but first time you played the Angels, who are the second worst team in baseball, was this weekend. The A's were magical at the first half and have really slid. You've got multiple games left, like you have two series left with the Chicago White Sox. There's opportunities for the Mariners to keep taking that step forward. And I think you and me were talking about last night where they're sitting at in the division is great. They're 9-4. They've lost 2 games to the Astros, one to the Rangers, and one to the A's. They did not lose a game to the Angels, and they're sitting at 9-4. And in division, you need to keep taking care of business, and
Yeah.
especially with teams scuffling a little bit, whether due to injury or just poor play, the Mariners have to keep taking advantage of it and keep continuing to build that lead because I want something built up where nobody can chase them down. I'd love to go into that, really fighting for that second overall space in the American League because first one's probably going in the AL East unless they really start beating up on each other with the Orioles and the Yankees. But you need to beat the Central. You want to get that by. You don't want to win your division after playing that first round of the wild card. So Mariners have been fun and they're keeping me tuned in.
4.5 games up. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Texas
let's
lost
go.
today.
Let's go. Give us a follow over on social media. You can find me, your boy Coach Red, on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the Real _ Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
You can find me over on Twitter at Kane2406, TikTok, Kane0624. Also, follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.